All right. Y'all, thank y'all so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming to the week 8 class meeting. Exciting times. We are wrapping up module 154. Hallelujah. So here's the good news. Module 155 is only 20 days long. We're going to cover chapters 24, I think, through 27, which is going to be medicine, radiology, pathology and laboratory services, and some inpatient coding. We're going to touch on that. And then guess what? Then we're done with coding for a minute, for like a hot minute, several months. We get to work on software and insurance claims and appointment scheduling and front office activities and stuff like that. We're going to step out of coding for a good little bit. So that'll be fun. That's my favorite part to teach is the insurance and claims and stuff like that, because that's my jam. That's what I like. So we got that to look forward to. Now on Tuesday, when we close out the module 154, you will have, for those of you, and funny enough, like I said, most of y'all in here right now, with the exception of Shakira and Cassandra and Tia, I think, all of the rest of y'all started in January. So none of y'all have to take the final exam. I was gonna read off a list.
How many students do you have now? I'm sorry.
40 some odd.
In one class?
No. 5 different classes.
Oh.
I have a
Oh my
question.
gosh.
When
I think it was only
when would
2
my
when I
last day
started.
be?
Huh?
When would my last day be? Like, is this my last module?
Shakira, I am pretty sure you are done like on the 13th of February. Give me a second.
Okay.
Well, that means you were there when I was here.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Yep. Y'all started Shakira started not too long after you.
Mm-mm.
Are you the last one that was in the class with me? Or
February 13th. No, she was she started after you, like a couple months after you, but not long.
Okay.
February 13th, Shakira.
Okay, thank you.
So next week? We got
I think so.
sister. It went by fast, didn't it?
It did.
All right. So yeah, February 13th. I've actually got 2 of y'all finishing on that day. So that's exciting stuff. Yeah, most of y'all do not have to take the final exam. Those of y'all that started in January, I had January 30 and January 30th starts this month, that's a lot of new students in 1 month. Y'all might not know that, but it is. So none of y'all have to take the final exam, but for those of you who are going to watch this later and do have to take the final exam, it is going to encompass a little bit from every chapter we covered. Okay. So just be prepared for that. But y'all know me. I'm not going to give y'all some massive, crazy final exam, but you will not have a lab assignment on that day because it's a final exam. It'll be bigger than your average tests, but not crazy, not crazy. But there will be no labs on that day. So for you new students, easy day for y'all on Tuesday. Easy day for y'all. I may have y'all do some kind of like little worksheet or something, some coding practice or something like that. But it won't be anything crazy. Nothing to read, no labs to work out. So that'll be good. Let's see. A lot of multiple choice on the final exam, y'all. A lot of it. To cover all the chapters we covered, it's got to be a little bit of multiple choice, not a lot of coding. Not a lot of coding. There's a few coding questions maybe from each chapter, so less than 10 coding questions altogether on it. So it won't be too bad. But there will be a couple of diagrams from throughout. I haven't decided which ones yet, but we will have some diagrams on there. So have those handy, I suppose. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for the exam. I think y'all will do just fine.
On it, chapter 22.
The chapter 21 exams, y'all have been doing killer on those. Y'all have got the CPT coding down. Y'all got it down. And my new ones, y'all will have it down in the next few weeks, I'm certain. Before we get out of 155, y'all will have gotten your manuals, caught on a good bit. I just know it.
Do we have a exam on chapter 22? Okay.
There will be a little bit of chapter 22 and chapter 23, which y'all are doing. Y'all are starting 20, y'all just finished 22 yesterday, starting 23 today, and doing that today and tomorrow, covering that. Monday is going to be a big review day for the final exam on Tuesday. Monday is probably going to be a lot of going over PowerPoints and making notes and things like that. That'll probably be the bulk of your lab assignment for Monday. Will be just reviewing PowerPoints to prepare for the exam. And then your exam will be on Tuesday. So, like I said, even though y'all are not taking that exam, still do the review lab, just so you know. That's just more familiarization with the material. And that way, the next time when y'all wrap around in this module and you finish it up, you'll already have seen it at least, you know.
Miss Brandy,
Which
can I just say one thing?
Sure.
Quizlet is your friend. It's better than Google. Quizlet is the best. It makes your flashcards, and 9 out of 10 times, if you're studying for a test, somebody else has studied for that same test, and they already have made, study questions. And I loved Quizlet because, you could do games to learn some of that stuff, and it's just amazing. I
Thank
just
you,
wanted to say that.
Karen. I have not.
Quizlet is your friend.
I'm gonna write that down because that's not something that I have looked into very much. So I'm gonna look into that.
I'm pretty sure you can find mine on there too, because I have, the ones I made or
So to let
whatever.
you access other people's study materials that they've already
If they have it set to that, I mean, but you can type in a question, say you can't find it or you can't figure it out, and you can type it into like the Google search bar, because you said Google's your friend. Well, that's how I discovered Quizlet. And there's another one that's really good, is called Paraphrase something, and it helps you to make sure, if you pay for the subscription, which you don't necessarily have to, but it helps you reword stuff to where it sounds better, and you can like pick just little pieces of a paragraph. You can copy and paste to the website and then say paraphrase, and it'll I wish I could remember the name
simplify
of
it
it.
for you.
Get right. Well, it changes everything up and makes it sound better, and you could choose what you want it to sound more of, professional or just easygoing or
Gotcha.
that sort of thing. And I mean, if you pay for the subscription, it'll even tell you copywriting, or plagiarizing. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. That is good to know. All right. So I have got, since y'all are doing chapters 22 and 23 right now, I figured that we would go over some of the practical questions that y'all have been looking at. Here we go. And the first one we're going to look at, and we're just going to go over from 2 of them from chapter 22 and then 2 of them from chapter 23, just so y'all get an idea of what those sections look like in the CPT. Okay. So this first one from 22, you should have done it it should have been Tuesday's assignment, part of Tuesday's lab assignment. It's exercise 22-2 in the nervous system, page 597 in your book, if you want to follow along. Okay. All right. So the first one is saying drainage of a non-traumatic subdural hematoma using burr holes. All right. And for the exercise that I asked y'all for CPT and ICD-10, we're just going to go work on the CPT for now. Since all of us in here are pretty much new, we're just going to concentrate on the CPT. So where do y'all think we're going to start with that? Drainage of a non-traumatic subdural hematoma using burr holes.
I'd probably start at drainage.
Drainage? You could probably start there. I'd start with the burr hole. I think that's probably will get you a little more to where you want to be faster. Like I'm sure you could start with drainage and then they would list down under there and you could find the body part and then, burr holes and all that. But I bet if you start with burr holes, it'll list it right under it where you need to be. And give you some options. Like I think it does burr hole and then it indents down to actual drainage and then hematoma. Are y'all seeing that? Let's see. Anybody? Anybody got a guess on that or what they put for their homework?
Um, I have 6. Let me see what I wrote down. 61154 is where it takes you.
That's correct. Let's see. That's where it takes you in that's where the alphabetic index takes you in the tabular 61154.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Very good.
Yes. And then non-traumatic subdural hematoma. I would say it's 61154, but
That's correct.
that's what I think. Okay.
That's correct. You got that, Courtney. Yeah. See, a lot of the times with the CPT guys, it's pretty direct and clear. It gets a lot more complicated once we get into diagnosis. When we start doing ICD-10, there's a lot of different things that go into that. But for the most part, CPT is pretty direct in getting you to the correct code. So that's correct, 61154. All right, so let's look at the second one. Drainage of traumatic subdural hematoma with craniectomy supratentorial. Supratentorial. I have no idea what that means. But drainage of traumatic subdural hematoma with craniectomy supratentorial. So where would we start with that, y'all think? What procedure?
I would say drainage.
Do drainage.
I mean, if not drainage, hematoma. I don't
I'm
know.
not sure if hematoma would get you there, but craniectomy would probably.
That's the procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Craniectomy.
So drainage and craniectomy are both procedures, correct? Or is drainage just an addition to the craniectomy?
You're doing the craniectomy for the purpose of drainage. Does that make sense? Like,
Yes.
the craniectomy is the procedure, but we need it to do the drainage. That's why we're doing it. Is to get it drained. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, generally I think you could look under drainage and you'd get there. But craniectomy would definitely be the faster, most direct route. And anytime y'all, I don't know if y'all have seen it. It was kind of late getting posted, but I've done some 5-minute videos. And I still have the one on suffixes to post. But I'm doing some 5-minute videos, mini lessons on medical terminology and putting them in e-learning in the daily assignments. And the first one I did was on prefixes, and I think that one's attached to Monday's assignment. Suffixes should be available in the morning. But for craniectomy, the OMY or the TOMY at the end of that is one of those common suffixes that you can look for. And almost any time you see a word that ends with Tomy, Scopy, one of those type of endings to a word, that's almost always going to be your procedure. Okay. And that's why I always say start with the word you don't know. But yeah, I would start with craniectomy, and then if I'm not mistaken, it says something, it indents down and says either like drainage or evacuation or emptying, something along those lines.
61312.
That's where you ended up?
Mhm.
Awesome. So did you look under craniectomy? And
Yes,
what did it indent down to, Jackie? Just out of curiosity.
you go to drainage is what I did.
It was drainage? Okay, cool. All right, and have you looked at the tabular at 61312? And it matched?
Yes.
Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce, 61312. That is correct, ma'am. Good job. Good job, good job. All right, so now that y'all have been in a couple of weeks, those of y'all that started on the 3rd, are y'all seeing how the process, regardless of what chapter or which body system we're covering, the process is the same for the coding?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so the next couple we're going to look at are going to be on page 610, exercises 23-2. Okay, and this covers the auditory system. Chapter 23 that y'all start today is going to be your eyes, ears, I know the ocular indexa is the formal name for it, the medical term, but I say eyes and ears, your auditory and sight functions, those body parts, which I find really interesting, but only because my uncle had an auditory tumor. Have y'all ever heard of that? An auditory tumor? It's crazy. It's basically a brain tumor, but it's attached to the nerve in your ear, the auditory nerve in your ear. And he had to have legit brain surgeries, craniotomy to get in there and get that thing out. It was some serious stuff. But so I find stuff on the ears and brain and stuff like that kind of interesting. So it's a chapter that I like. But exercise 23-2, which should be from your lab assignment for today, I think. So y'all get the first 2 answers for free. Let's see. The first one is left labyrinthotomy. Labyrinthotomy. We'll go with that. With cryosurgery with multiple perfusions, transcanal. Left labyrinthotomy with cryosurgery with multiple perfusions, transcanal.
So there's only one code under labyrinthectomy. So that kind of made it easy for me to figure out. And it went to 69801.
That is correct. Now, does this one need a modifier?
Is perfusions, is that a procedure with multiple perfusions?
Here's a tip.
I don't know.
Anytime they specify which side they work on, whether it's the left or the right.
Oh, yeah, so we should put LT, okay.
Exactly.
So maybe I'm the slow one. I feel like I'm the slow one, but I was wondering, like, when do you put left and right? And it's only when it's a pair, like eyes, ears, breast. Is that the only time you put left and right, or only when they put it in there, that's when you put left and right on it?
Anytime it's specified, some in different codes the payer will not accept it on there's certain procedures and certain codes that if you do not have it specified the left or the right or which digit or which arm or whatever, they will not pay it. They'll send it back to you until you have that information attached. In
So when
some,
it's both, that's when you put it twice, or do you put ×2 when it's both? Both eyes or something like that?
it depends. There's some codes that you can do the ×2 with. Most payers like you to list them out separately.
Okay.
That's generally the payer's preference. And a lot of the times, guys, when you go to work in a billing office or something like that, you may only work with like private insurance payers. Like my first one, I did for the accounts that I worked, I did private insurance only for like 4 different accounts. But I worked all 4 of those accounts, different clinics. I worked all of their Blue Cross, all of their Humana, all the private insurance companies. There was somebody else that specialized in Medicare. And there usually is. There's usually a seasoned employee that handles Medicare claims in most billing offices. You'll have somebody that specializes usually in government claims like VA, aside from Medicare, because that's 2 different animals. You generally, we had a Medicaid specialist, one person for Medicaid, one person for Medicare, and everybody else work on private insurance. Was kind of the way that office was set up. And we handled, in our department, we had at one point 20 different clinics that we were coding and billing for. So it was quite a workload, but great experience. That was actually the company that Aaron was trying to get hired on with in Alexandria. I worked there for 4 or 5 years when I started my career. And they're an awesome company to work for and get experience. You'll get lots of experience because you're gonna work on 20 different accounts. You're gonna get really good at what you do really fast, put it that way. But anywho, so exercise 23-2. But yes, if they specify left or right, and especially if you're dealing with the eyes and the ears, they want to know if it was left, right, or bilateral. And you can either do LT, RT, or if it's bilateral, I think it's modifier 50. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's 50. 50 or 50, one of the two. But you have to specify on which was worked on, which side. Yeah, so it'd be 69801-LT would be the correct way to write that out. All right, so number 2, bilateral insertion of pressure equalization tubes using general anesthesia. And this is going to require 2 codes. Who can tell me why 2 codes?
For the anesthesia?
Dippers. Yep, it's going to require 2 codes because it was a bilateral procedure. They did it on both sides. All right.
So I wrote all my answers down, so I just don't want to say the answer.
That's fine. That's fine. And I'm sure. All right. So here's a weird one. All right. So pressure equalization tubes. I want to say that's like when they put tubes in the ears of kids, when they have to have tubes put in their ears. I can't remember what my daughter's surgeon called that. But for some reason in our book, it's called a tympanostomy. I'm sure that's the correct term. But if you knew that, that's where you would start in the alphabetic index for this scenario. It would be tympanostomy. Now, I wouldn't know that. The only reason I knew that was because I have the answers and I worked it backwards to see how they got that answer. And sometimes it takes that, y'all. If you're not familiar with the specialty or with the codes or whatever, sometimes you have to work backwards to figure out how they got the stinking answer for that. And that's okay. And when you do that, it'll stick with you too. You'll remember stuff that way. But so what code did you come up with?
Well, I came up with 69436.
That's correct. How did you go about finding it, Courtney? What did you go
Well,
to?
let me look back at the question, because I closed out of that in my book. I'm on my work computer and on my phone. So let me see. That's on page 613. Let's see. Which page is that on? Is that 613 or 612? 610. Bilateral insertion.
Okay,
I think I did insertion.
okay.
Yeah.
That I hadn't even thought of that, but that's probably good too.
Insertion and then to insertion to equalization to I just go on to it. I think we did activities.
I'd be willing to bet equalization tubes or pressure tubes or something like that would get you there too.
Yeah, but I didn't see equalization.
But
I don't think
you
that
still
was,
regardless of how you got there, you still got the correct code.
well, I just want to
trying to tell
remember how I
y'all,
got there.
There's so many ways to do it. There's more ways. So don't ever be afraid about picking the wrong keyword or something like that. You just start and see where it leads you. But yeah, 69436 is the correct code. Now it's saying two codes.
Maybe it was anesthesia, or I think maybe I tried anesthesia first. I don't know. I don't remember
Maybe
what I
so.
did. General anesthesia.
But so the way you're going to list that out is you would do 69436 twice, and that second one would have the 50 modifier to let you know it's bilateral. You would list it once and then again with a 50 modifier to indicate bilateral. Because if you don't throw that modifier on there and you just put 69436, they're going to throw it, the claim is going to come right back to you, and they're going to say, no, either you're missing a modifier or duplicate procedures. That's what they're going to tell you if you don't specify it was a bilateral procedure. All right. Any questions? Any questions? All right, so the next time we meet, guys, we're gonna have our Tuesday night coding workshop as usual. We're gonna continue on with those. And the next time we meet, next Thursday, we will be in module 155. If y'all need anything reopened, you need retakes, hey cute little baby, hey baby, text me over the weekend and I'll open what I can when I get on. I will be in this weekend because I'm going to try to open your final exam. I'm hoping to have it open tomorrow, so y'all have days to take it if you want to, and then do retakes and stuff like that before the module closes. Y'all
But we
are
don't, the new students that start in January don't have to worry about that, right?
correct.
Okay.
Majority everybody on this meeting actually does not have to worry about it, but I'm still gonna try to have it there for the other folks. Because like I said, there's, just to put it in perspective for you, this meeting, we had 12 participants. I've got almost 50 students. Like y'all 12 are the ones that started like this month. Everybody else has kind of been in and going, and like Shakira that was in, she's actually finishing, on the 13th, a few days into module 155, because that's where she started. She started a few days into module 155. So she jumped into it just like y'all did, into the thick of coding. So y'all,
Before our next Zoom meeting, will we have our manuals come in?
yes, if you do not have your manual, let's give it till Monday, because a lot of people in the last group, it was delivered on the weekend. So I would say if you don't have it by Monday, Angel, we'll start tracking shipments and stuff. Let me know if you haven't got it by Monday. But I want to say, like, for my January 3rd group, it was like the Sunday when most people got their manuals delivered. So I'm hoping it'll be a quick delivery. But
Okay.
yeah, we'll keep a close eye on when y'all get them, and just to make sure that y'all all do get them. And we'll track the shipments if we need to, if it doesn't come. Those stinking books are expensive, y'all. They're like,
Man, I wish I would have, what, are they about to do the, data entry and, where you're in the system, like, set
oh,
up like your
yeah, they're
medical
getting
assist-
there. I was telling them about that earlier, 156.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see, I wish I could have jumped in at that point in time, because that's actually got, you don't really do too much coding. And then what coding you do, it's in the system. You're learning how to find it in the actual
and that's how it is when
computer
you go to
system.
work. Most of the coding, 99% of y'all, when y'all go to work, the coding is going to be in the software for you already. Y'all will see what that looks like in 156.
My favorite. That's my favorite. Because I mean,
It's
it was
everybody's
basically
favorite usually.
it was doing research, and you actually felt like you could actually do it. I didn't feel so overwhelmed in that module.
No, it's a good one. It's a good one. All right.
I had a question about our diplomas.
Mhm.
Who do we need to contact to get those?
It should be mailed to you. You haven't gotten yours yet?
Well, I got something from the Honor Society,
No,
but
you
nothing
should
from.
be getting your diploma. They say 8 weeks after you finish, it should come in the mail. Has it been
Well,
8
I
weeks?
finished November the 7th, so yeah, no, almost.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah, it's been
it's been
over 8
8 weeks.
weeks. No,
Yeah,
I'll email Franny and see what's up with that. I'll email the registrar.
because I not too long after I graduated, after my last day, I did email her asking about setting up an appointment time to take the
NCCT? Yeah.
is it medical office assistant
Uh-huh. The
certification
MLA?
test.
Yeah.
Was that the only one, or do we get a certification for like professional coders?
Yeah, you get the coding and insurance.
So it's a certificate.
When you got to take the certification exam,
Oh, okay.
NCCT exam. There's two different exams. There's the MOA, which is the medical office assistant, and then the coding and insurance.
Oh, that's what it's called, coding and
I think
insurance.
so. I think so.
Or is it professional coder? Because see, when I was filling out resumes, I mean applications or whatever, they ask questions like, what's your certification? And I'm like, well, I don't know that I have one. I have a diploma.
Yeah. Well, and that's when you can put in, I have finished the medical billing and coding program at Unitech Training Academy and am in the process of preparing for my certification exam at this time. I'll be getting.
That sounds better than that sounds better than what I was gonna put. I was
Yeah,
just gonna put
use it up,
no.
girl. Use it up.
Yeah. So when we get certified, we pass the exam for the is it NCCT?
Mhm.
What do you know what the certification, like the technical name is of the certification?
I'm pretty sure I thought it was the coding and insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll look. I was just wondering.
I can get with Miss Marsha and find out for sure. She's the one who knows all the NCCT stuff. I can get with her and double check on that. But
Yeah, I mean, I have the link to that, but doesn't it have to, we have to go through Miss Franny to take that, right?
Yes, if you want Unitech to pay for it, yeah, you gotta set it
Yeah.
up through training.
I just sure do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I
it's-
was wondering.
But here's the deal. Unitech pays for y'all to take it one time, okay? If you do not pass it your first time, you are responsible for paying to take it a second time if you choose to do so. But it's not like $1,000. It's like $120 or something like that. It's nothing crazy if you have to retake it. But I will say this. I've only had one student not pass it, and y'all, she missed it by 1 point. It was so close. Talk about make you sick. But all of my other students who have taken it have passed it, and it's been fine. Okay, so don't stress out about that.
Is it
I-
timed?
Huh?
Is it timed?
I think
That's
so.
a good question. I think so,
Oh,
because it's a proctored exam. So yeah, I'm sure there is a time limit. But I've never heard anybody fuss about running out of time. So I'm pretty sure they give you two hours or more to take it.
I think it's 3 hours they give you.
Is it 3 hours? God,
For the medical office assistant. I don't know about the other one.
the medical office assistant shouldn't be as long as the coding and insurance. That should be a much smaller exam than coding and insurance.
Well, the one that we studied for with Miss Marcia, I don't think we studied for the other one because, so what do we use to study for it? Do they give you something at the NCCT website?
You can buy
Oh,
stuff
wait.
from the NCCT website, but Aaron, you should have all that stuff.
Well, I mean, I still have all my homework and everything like that.
Well,
So
no,
we use our test.
the practice exams, that's what we
Yeah.
go over in the prep sessions. You don't have the practice
Right.
exams?
No, I do. I got everything on note cards
Well,
even.
then that's what you
Flashcards.
study.
That's for the professional, I mean, for the coding? Or is that just medical office assistant? I
Did
thought.
you, girl?
I
You
thought
have
it was just
both.
medical.
So, I mean, you got to tell me which one you got and which one you don't.
I think I only have the medical
The
office
medical
assistant.
office? Well, then I will email you the coding and billing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Don't email it to my Unitech address because
I don't.
I don't even use it.
Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all now. I don't email stuff when I email y'all, which is like you can ask Aaron once in a blue moon, like almost never. I will not send it to your Unitech email address. I will send it to your personal. So just a heads up on that. If I say
That's
I
just-
emailed you something, it went to your personal, not your Unitech. Because that's the first email address I get for y'all. So that's what I keep and that's what I go by. Instead of having to change it later to your Unitech email address, I ain't worrying about all that. I'm just gonna send it to your personal and it'll be all right. All right, so any other questions? We good for today? All right, folks. Well, everybody, thank you again for your time. I really, really appreciate it. Again, get with me. We're wrapping up module 154. If y'all need to make up stuff or whatever, I am here.
She's so cute. Hello, baby.
Just so
Is it okay if I hang back after you everybody leaves?
yes,
Just for a second? Do you have time?
I got a minute.
Oh, that's right. You got to go pick
Yeah, I
the
gotta
little
get
one
the
up.
little one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll text you later.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
sounds good. All right, folks. Again, y'all have a wonderful weekend. Appreciate y'all's time. And I'm here if you need me. Bye, everybody.
bye.